Hello, everyone, and welcome to Opera Property Management System Training. Today, we're going to take a look at the cashiering module. In our previous lesson, we showed you how to check out guests, post a simple charge, and we went over all the different fields on the billing screen. Today, we're going to cover adjustments. We're also going to show you how to post multiple payments to a billing screen. We're going to show you how to do checkouts. Also, we're going to show you how to do fast posting, passerby, post-it, and how to close out your cashier once again. Okay, so first, let's go ahead and just take a little review here. Okay, remember the 3 ways or the 4 ways that you can get to the billing screen. One of the ways was through cashiering, and you would click on billing, and if you put in your password each time you go into the billing screen, which would be your Opera password, takes you to in-house guests, and you can pull up stayovers, do-outs, and guests that you've already checked out. Another way to get to billing is by going to front desk. You can click on in-house guest, find the guest that you want to go to the billing screen. So if we want to go to Carol Hartman's bill, we can highlight her reservation, click on option, and go to billing. Put in your Opera password, and it takes you into the billing screen. Another way that you can get into billing, remember our dashboard. The dashboard is accessed by clicking on Control F4 on your keyboard, Control F4, and then it brings up the dashboard for you. By search, it will bring up all in-house guests, all future reservations, and we would search for the guest that I'm looking for. So I'm going to highlight Ginger Grant. Over on the right is the cashier billing screen. Notice window 1 has a balance of $287.40. We click on billing, put in our Opera password, and we're at the billing screen. Okay? All right, so we'll stay on the dashboard here for a little while so you can get used to the dashboard a little bit here. So let's say we want to bring up just the guests that are due out today on the dashboard. The way to do that is we can click on Advanced here. Down at the bottom here, you have a radio button. It's called Due Out. So I'm going to choose it, and I'm going to click Search. This brings up the 3 guests that are due out today. So Andy Seilers in 217, and then we have the lost interface, which is room 9500, and we also have the POS cash interface 9510. So if I want to go into Andy Seiler's bill, I'm going to highlight his name. Notice we can see the profile information here. We have the calendar up here on the right that shows our availability for the hotel. Reservation information here, arrival date, departure date, tells you the status of the room. It's on dirty. Notice by the reservation here name, it tells you that they're due out. The guest confirmation number over on the right. If you want to access the reservation from this screen, you can click on Reservation. Takes you to the reservation screen. If you want to go to Reservation Options, you can click on Reservation Options. Takes you there. And if we want to go to the checkout screen, we can click on Checkout because this guest is due out. Put our Opera password in, and we're on the billing screen here. So, on this particular guest, if you remember from our class yesterday, we split off $59 from the rate because the rate was originally $300 or $359, and the rate was only supposed to be $300. So we split $59 off and moved it to window 2. Remember, you can click the charges that you want to move, and then you could click on those charges, drag and drop them over into window 1. Click the charges that you want to move. Do a single click, drag, and drop them over to window 2. Okay, so let's say that we wanted to do an adjustment of the $59. Okay, so I'm going to put these back over on window 1 because that's what the guest owes. And the $59 is what we want to adjust off. So I always like to move those charges to another window, because now whenever you print the guest bill, it will print window 1 here and it will only show these charges here. So if we want to do an adjustment of the $59 plus tax, there's 2 ways that you can do this adjustment. The first way I'm going to show you is by using the right click on your mouse. So let's say we want to adjust off the $59. So I highlight the room charge. I do a right click. Oh wait, we want to put an X beside it. I do a right click. And then I choose Adjust Transaction. Try it one more time. Okay, there we go. So you get a screen here. You have 3 choices. Do I want to adjust selected postings? Do I want to adjust by transaction codes? Or do I want to adjust by check number? Well, I highlighted the room charge and put an X beside it. So I want to adjust by selected postings. I'm going to click OK. It takes me to the Adjust Transactions. So on the Adjust Transaction Code screen, you have 2 choices. I can type in an amount, or I can put a percentage. So if I wanted to adjust the $59 off, I could do it by amount, do $59, or I could choose percent and do 100%, and it would adjust off that $59. But I'm going to choose the amount, and I'm going to type in $59. The system knows that this is adjustment, so we don't have to put a minus in front of it. You notice it automatically does it when I hit my tab key. When you do this adjustment, you have to choose a reason why you're doing the adjustment. It was the incorrect price. Guest rate should have been $300. I'm going to click on OK. Tells me 1 charge has been adjusted. Notice that it also takes the tax off. This was set up in configuration so that when you make an adjustment, it will also adjust off the room taxes. So now if you notice, there was a minus $59 there plus the taxes. Notice that our window is at 0 now. That's a good thing. We always want the windows at 0. Okay, so we've taken care of the adjustment. Now, I want to point out one thing on the window 1. Notice there's a paid out here. If we want to know what that paid out was for, if I click Edit, we can look at the reference here and it says this was a tip to the Bell staff. So a paid out reduces the front desk agent's cash, and so it's like you're giving out $30 from your drawer to the guest to give to the bellman. Other uses of paid out is maybe you want to get some things from the store for the guest and you're going to charge it to their room. So you take the money out of the drawer, you go buy the items for them at the store, and then you post the paid out to their room. If you want to post a paid out, so let's say we wanted to give the guest another $20, so we can click on Post. In the code, if we just type in paid and hit the tab key, it will put the transaction posting description there. We're going to give them another $20. And why are we giving them $20? Because we, the guests wanted to tip the bellman again, and the guest did not have any cash. Okay. Click on Post, and we close. So now it adds another $20 to the guest bill. So we've posted paid out twice, one for 30, one for 20. Okay, so that's what a paid out is. All right, remember down at the bottom, if we wanted to print out the guest folio for the guest, we could click on folio, click on preview. Remember we had the different folio styles, so it lays out the folio differently. There's about 19 different styles here that you can use. So sometime when you're bored and you want to see what the different styles look like, you could just go through each one and preview it and see what the different styles are. The one we usually default to most of the time at properties is the summary by check number. The folio style number 14 is usually what most hotels use. And you can default that in the application settings when you're doing configuration. Okay, so now let's say we want to check out the guest room. Notice Andy Seiler has a Visa card on their reservation, so it shows here. Okay, so if we want to check this guest out, we're going to click on Checkout. Choose Checkout here. Once we do that, it takes you to the payment screen. Okay, let's say the guest wants to pay the $50 for the paid out separately by cash, and they're going to pay the rest on their credit card. So remember we had $50 that was on the paid out. So let's say we're going to post $330 to the Visa. Shows our Visa card here. If we want to email the folio, we could click Email Folio. We could add Andy Seiler's email address, which he has already in here. Okay. And then once we post, it will email out the folio for us. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and post. I'm going to uncheck the email folio. I'm going to go ahead and post. Notice now we have $50 left. So if I close out of here, Opera has posted the $330 to the Visa card. Now we have to take the cash for the $50. So we're taking two different types of payments here. So then we could go back to checkout. Choose checkout. We have $50 there, and this time we're going to choose cash. The guest is giving us cash. Let's say the amount received, let's say they give us 320s, which is $60. And I'm going to post, and it shows that my change due is $10. So if you put the amount received, amount due is $50, it will tell you what the change due is. I click on OK. So now it has taken my bill down to 0, and it says, would you like to schedule a checkout time or continue with the checkout? I'm going to continue because the guest is really leaving. So if you notice now, we have the cash payment, we have the Visa payment. Notice Andy Seiler's name is in red now. That's because Andy Seiler has been checked out. Okay? So all folios or all windows need to be at a 0 balance, and also the balance needs to be at 0 to be able to check out the guest. Notice down at the bottom, if the guests came back, there is a button once you've checked them out to reinstate them again. So if they came back, maybe they wanted back in the room, maybe their flight was canceled, and they came back to the hotel and needed a room, you could go to their checked out bill and reinstate them again. Okay, so once we're done, we're going to click on Close. Takes us back to the dashboard, and remember the name disappeared because we asked the dashboard, we only want to see the due outs. So if I wanted to choose just checked out rooms, I could search, and here's the 2 rooms that have been checked out. Lyle Erkey, Andy Seiler. Okay. All right. So we did an adjustment using the right click. Okay. So let's go back. So now I click the clear button to clear all my information down below. So let's say Miss Long has come to checkout at the front desk. So we could type in the last name for Long, click on search. We have a Paula Long and a Darren Long sign. Remember the Darren Long sign was a no-show? Paula Long is wants to check out. Notice her departure date is 6/3 and our hotel date is 6/2. So she was originally supposed to check out a day later, but now she wants to check out early. Notice we have routing, so we could click on the routing. Shows that room and tax should have went to 9,008. Notice over billing that she has a balance of $34. So let's go ahead and click on billing. Put in our password. So the guest owes $34 for guest laundry. So the guest has sent out her laundry and she owes for that. And the rest of the room and tax was routed to the posting master because she's part of the opera training retreat group. Notice she's checked in. She's in room 202. Now, let's say she said that she saw her receipt for the guest laundry and it said it should have been $24. And if they would have posted it today before the night audit, you can do what's called a correction in Opera. A correction allows you on the day of the posting to change the amount because it has not went through the night audit yet. So we can highlight the posting. We can click on edit. Notice the price. We can change that to $24. And now the price has been corrected. And now the correct price is $24. This can only be done on the day of posting. Once it has went through the night audit, then you would have to do an adjustment like we did earlier. Okay, so now notice down in the right hand corner where the button says settlement. This normally says checkout, but since her due departure date is not until tomorrow, she would be considered an early departure, meaning she's checking out before her departure date. So if she wants to check out, you want to click on settlement, and you have a choice for interim bill, early departure, or advance bill. Now let me explain what each one is. The interim bill allows you to post a payment to the actual in-house guest, and it will not check them out, and it will not change the departure date to today's date. So we could go in and post a charge. So like if you had a long-term stay person that's staying for quite some time, and every once in a while they come down to make a payment on their room. So they came down and made an early payment, so you could post that early payment and then close out, and it would have posted a payment to the guest bill, here. The next button under settlement is called early departure. We're going to skip that just for a moment. The other one is advance bill. Advance bill allows you to post room and tax in advance. So if the guest would like to come down, let's say they're leaving at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and they want to post their room and tax and have the room and tax on their bill and pay for it tonight, then we could have it post room and tax for tonight and then have them take the payment. And then during the audit process, it will already know that it had been posted, so it will not post again. The second one is, let's say they're staying 4 or 5 nights and they want to post the room and tax for those number of nights so they can have a bill ahead of time. We could do that, but always remember, if we post room and tax ahead of time, all that room revenue would go on today's date. So if we posted it all for the next 3 days, it would all post on today's date. And for this room tomorrow night, there would not be room revenue, and the next night there would not either. It would all be posted tonight. And then if you wanted to post the entire stay for their reservation, we could choose entire stay, and it would post all the room and tax for their entire stay. And you could give the folio to the guests, so if they need it at check-in, so that maybe they can get cash or money from their company to pay for it, then they could get that bill in advance for them. Okay, but we're not going to do any of them. We're going to choose early departure because this guest is departing early, so we want to check out the guest. So we choose early departure. I'm going to click on OK. Takes me to checkout folio. Do you want to check out the folio? Yes. Okay. Takes me to the payment screen. The guest owes us $24. Let's say the guest gave us a Visa. So we could choose Visa in the drop-down, or we can choose the button for Visa. Then, if you had a credit card swipe on your keyboard or on your PC, you could swipe the credit card and it would put the numbers in the credit card number field. But since I don't, I'm going to type it in. And remember, it has to be the correct number, has to be a real credit card, or Sopper will not take it. So they gave me a Visa. I'm going to post the $24. I'm going to click on post. It would go out and get authorization on it. And let's say Paula is in meetings today with the Opera Training Retreat. So let's say she is not going to check out until 1 p.m. So we're going to schedule a checkout. We're going to click on schedule checkout, and it's 1300 at this hotel. They use the 24-hour clock. So if this guest bill is still at 0 at 1 o'clock, Opera will automatically check out this guest out of the system. I'm going to click on OK. So now the guest has a scheduled checkout time. Okay. All right. So that was an early departure, and we also scheduled the checkout for this guest. So 1 o'clock is when it will check out of Opera if it's still at a 0 balance. Okay, we're going to close out of there. Notice Paula Long is still considered a due out because we didn't check her out. We just scheduled the checkout. So now we're going to go over the billing options, the options button on the billing screen. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up another reservation, last name Hartman, on the dashboard here. I'm going to click search, highlight Carol Hartman. I'm going to click on billing, enter my Opera password, and it takes us to the billing screen. So notice this guest is not due out until June 3rd. Our hotel date is June 2nd. Notice this guest was on a package. Okay, so the guest was on a package, so took the package plus the taxes, and that gives you your total. Notice also down at the bottom in blue, there is information here. Guest would like first floor. Where did that come from? Remember, on the reservation screen, under reservation comments, this shows up at the bottom of the guest billing screen also. So all I did is a single click on it, and it takes me to the reservation comments screen that are on the reservation screen. Okay, before we check this guest out, we're going to go over the options here. So if I click on options, the first button is the agent company. And remember, we went over this during reservation training. So I'll just briefly go over a lot of these. The agent company, this field allows for profile linkage to this reservation and is the equivalent of the fields in the upper right-hand corner of the reservation screen. So let's say a travel agent booked this particular reservation. Notice the travel agent name is there. Okay, if they were with a company, we could put the company name here, and we would attach the profile to the reservation. Okay. The next button is changes. This records all changes made to a reservation and stores all the change history in the system for the life of a reservation. So when we created the new reservation, added comments, we checked it in, we updated the reservation, We had a wake-up call, and then we looked at the travel agent and agent commissions there. Okay? Have a report button, details, and we close. The next button is the comment field. Any comments pertaining to the stay will be entered into this field. So if we wanted to add a new one, we could click New, and there would be the comment field. The next option is credit cards. So I click on the credit cards option. Credit card allows the user to see history of credit card authorization, history of all cards on a reservation, as well as obtain additional authorization amounts for a card on file. So we could click on credit card history. It would show you any authorizations for a credit card. You also have a checkbox for payments, checkbox for refunds, and a checkbox for failures. They would all show up here. You can also get additional authorization on credit cards from this screen here. If I click on authorization, if I was attached to a credit card interface through Opera, I could click on additional here and get additional credit card authorization for the guest. The manual button here, this is for if your credit card system is not currently working and you have to call an 800 number to get an authorization for like the Visa card here. So there is an 800 number that you can call, and they would give you the amount that they approved for and give you the approval code, and you would type it here. That's credit cards. The next button is deposit cancellation. This just takes you to the advanced deposit screen here. The screen allows the user to take an advanced deposit on a reservation as well as view the cancellation policy. Okay. Next button is fixed charges. Fixed charges are a reoccurring or a one-time charges on the reservation beyond room and tax. When set up, these charges can post during the night audit procedure. You can set up your fixed charges here. The next button is folio history. This allows the user to easily access any past folios attached to the current guest. The user will be able to print, preview, or email the folio. So if Carol Hartman had stayed with us before, we would have all her past folios here. So if she would like one from the past, we could pull it up here, we could print it out, we could email it to her. It's just very handy. The next button is future. This would show all future reservations attached to the profile. Package options. When a guest has a consumable package, the elements of the package are displayed on this screen. The screen will show the amount allowed, how much has been used, and if the guest has gone over the allotted amount. So if you notice on this reservation, Carol Hartman is on a package, and she is allowed up to $50 to be posted to her bill, and it will not post onto her bill because she is on a package. And in the package here, she gets $50 allowance for in-room dining breakfast or at any other restaurant in the hotel. This posted column would tell how much has been posted. She has not eaten breakfast yet, so nothing has been posted. And if she goes over, let's say by $1, the $1 would post directly to the guest bill because she's went over the allowance by $1. You can print out the report, you can refresh it, and you can close out. Okay, so that's package option. Phone details. When interfaced, phone details will allow the user to view the phone records for this particular guest. This can include number called, length of time spent on the call, and the price. This option also allows a report to be printed with the phone records. So if we were highlighted on a phone call, when we highlight it, it would give that information, the time that it was called, the duration, the number dialed, and how much. Post rate code takes you to a transaction posting screen. This option allows the user to manually post the rate code amount to the guest folio. This is usually done when a guest checks in post-night audit or when a room and tax posting is missing. So notice it puts the rate code here. If I hit my tab key, it puts the amount of the rate. Notice the rate is $377.80 up here on the right. Okay? And then you could post. But remember, we already posted it for this guest, and it went to the, and it's already on the room here. Okay. All right. Posting history. Posting history is a change. Here's posting history. Is a change log specific to financial postings that have happened on the billing screen. Any change that was posted, split, transferred, etc. will show up here. So we had the night audit postings here, and it posted room and tax. Okay. The next button is privileges. Privileges, these items allow or restrict postings at different points of the guest stay. So if it was a cash paying guest and they didn't have enough cash on their bill, they would have a no post checked here. This would not allow them to post from any of the outlets, or they could not make a phone call from their room if their phone was interfaced. They could not start movies in the room if they had an interface for movies. Okay. We also have pre-stay charging and post-stay charging. So if they have a credit card on the reservation, so when this guest checks out today, they would be allowed to go to the restaurant and charge to their room even if they've been checked out. In the POS system, the POS, the server that was charging your breakfast or your lunch to your room would pull up your room by last name in the POS system. And then the last one is the scheduled checked out, which we have talked about earlier. The profile option. The profile option provides access to the guest profile without having to leave the billing screen. So you click on profile and it takes you to Carol Hartman's profile. Proforma folio. Proforma folio is a folio of anticipated charges which can be provided to the guests prior to arrival. This is not a final bill and should not be presented as such. Reservation. Reservation button provides access to the guest reservation without having to leave the billing screen. It allows us to go to the reservation screen here. Room move. Room move allows the user to perform a room move without having to leave the billing screen. So if Carol Hartman came down and has decided to not check out and wanted to move to a different room, remember she's in room 117, we could go to move room, find a new room that she wants to move to, click on OK, and we would choose a reason why she is moving. And these are all created in configuration. Maybe she had a noise complaint. We could type in more information here if we wanted to. And then we'd click OK, and it would move Carol to the new room from 117 to 215. Routing. Routing is the ability to set up billing instructions on a reservation. So if they forgot to do it during the reservation time or they forgot to set up routing at check-in, you can do it from the cashiering screen here. And the last option is valued program. When a property has been set up for gift cards or RFID wristbands, this option allows for the loading and checking the balance of these methods of payment. Okay, so if the property has purchased this interface. So now that the Miss Hartman is leaving early, departure date was 6/3, our hotel date is 6/2. Miss Hartman owes us $377.80. She was on a package. So if we wanted to check the package elements to see if she ate breakfast, we can go to options and we can go to package options. And if you notice now, a charge has come across and shows that Miss Hartman had breakfast and there was $40 posted to her account. Notice it did not post to her account because she was on a package and the package allowance was $50. So she was allowed up to $50 and she used $40 of that $50. So you can go to options, you can go to package options and see what has been posted against her account. If she would have spent $51, then $1 would have posted to her bill. So now we want to go ahead and check out Miss Hartman. So since she's checking out early, we're going to go to settlement. We're going to choose early departure. We're going to check out. She has a visa on file. She wants to leave it on her visa. We'll click post. Wants to know if you want to schedule a checkout. I'm going to click on continue. And now the guest has been checked out. The bill is at 0. Her name is in red because she's checked out now. So she has been checked out. She was an early departure. I'm going to close. Takes us back to the dashboard. Okay, so now we're going to check out another guest. Ginger Grant has come up to the front desk and would like to check out. So we're going to bring up her billing screen. And since we've been using the dashboard, I'm going to go use a different screen so that you can see where there's different ways that you can bring up the guests for checkout. So I closed out of the dashboard, and this time I'm going to go to cashiering. I'm going to go to billing. I'm going to put in my password. Okay, and so Ginger Grant is checking out. So we're going to type in Grant's last name. Miss Grant is due out today. Was booked by Oracle Travel. She works for the company Oracle Hospitality. She had a wake-up call today. We have fixed charges attached to her reservation. She had a rollaway and she had parking. To bring up her bill, we're going to click on select. We've got the room charges, we got the rollaway charge, and we have the guest self-parking. Okay? So let's say, since she works for Oracle Hospitality, let's say during the check-in process and during the reservation process, they forgot to set up routing because room and tax is going to be direct billed to Oracle Hospitality. So we're going to set up the routing so we can put room and tax into window 2, because always remember when you're setting up routing and you're checking out to a direct bill, room charges in windows 2 through 8 can be direct billed, but charges in window 1 cannot be direct billed. So only windows 2 through 8 can be direct billed. So that's why when we set up routing and a company or someone's going to take care of the charges through direct bill, we always route those charges to window 2. So we're going to set up routing by going to options. We're going to click on routing. Remember, room routing will send it to another room, and window routing will send it to another window. So I'm going to choose window routing, and Oracle Hospitality is the company that's going to pay for her charges. So we're going to click on the drop down, and this is the list of profiles that are attached to my reservation. So I'm going to highlight Oracle Hospitality. We're going to send the room and tax to window 2, so we have to tell Opera we want room and tax. I'm going to choose room and tax, click add. Now it's in the selected area. I'm going to click on OK. Notice there's an AR account number for Oracle Hospitality. If there was not, you would have to attach an AR account to the Oracle Hospitality profile. So we have our routing set up. We're going to click OK. And on this screen, the last thing we need to fill out is what the payment code is. So if I click on Payment, and remember we're sending this to window 2, my payment code is going to be direct bill. So when I check out this guest, we're going to use the payment code to direct bill room and tax to Oracle Hospitality. I'm going to click on OK. Room and tax, taken care of by Oracle Hospitality. It's going to be direct billed. I close. Now it wants to know if it wants you to refresh folios. What this means is, since room and tax is already posted, it wants to know, do you want me to grab those room and tax charges from window 1 and move them to window 2? I'm going to say yes. We're going to close out of options. Now your room and tax charges has moved to window 2. Let's say the guest is responsible for the rollaway charge. So I want to move these rollaway charges and taxes back to window 1 because the guest is responsible for it. So I mark them, I click and drag to window 1. So we have the rollaway and we have the self-parking. Okay, so now I have 2 windows here. Guest pays window 1, Ginger Grant, name is there. Window 2 is being direct billed by Oracle Hospitality. So if the guest is going to check out, we highlight on window 1. Notice how when I click in the window, it highlights it. Click in window 1, it's highlighted in blue. I'm going to click on checkout. And I want to post those charges to the Visa. All right, so we got the Visa charge for $57.50. I'm going to click on post. And then it wants to know if you want to continue with window 2. Well, let's say that we're not quite sure if these room charges should be sent to Oracle Hospitality. So I'm going to say no for the moment. And I'm going to click in window 2. And if we want to check out this guest with the balance, so I can double check to see if these charges should be going to Oracle Hospitality, I can check out to what's called an open folio. So if I click on checkout, I have the choice to check out with open folio. So it gives me some time to check to see if those charges should be going to Oracle Hospitality. I click OK, and it says, do you want to check out guest without settling the folio? I'm going to say yes. Notice the guest shows checked out, but I still have a balance here. Okay? Name is in red down in the left-hand corner. Notice there's a red lamp down at the bottom that says open folio. So we know that this guest has been checked out to open folio, and now it's just going to sit in open folio status until somebody does something with this charge. Now you want to know, where can I find the open folios at? Well, on the in-house screen here, if I click on Advance, there's a checkbox for open folio. So if I uncheck do outs, uncheck stayovers, and click open folio and search, it brings up my open folio that has been checked out. Red lamp on open folio. Maybe we want to put a message on here or a comment. And we're going to click new. We'll choose all and say we're checking with management to see if charges should be direct billed. I click on OK, close, and then down at the bottom, if somebody goes into this folio, they can see, oh, we're checking with management to see if charges should be direct billed. You can do a single click on it. Okay. So now we're going to just leave it in open folio status for now. And this will just stay here in open folio status. It can go through the night audit with open folio status. So it's very important that somebody at the property double checks all the open folios each day so that people aren't checking out rooms to open folio and they just sit there and they don't get payment for them. Okay. So that is the billing screen. We went over all the items down here at the bottom. We went over the options. We also yesterday or during our Cashier 1 class, we went over the right click. We learned how to make an adjustment. We learned how to check out with an open folio. We learned how to move charges from one window to another. Okay. We also learned how to use the dashboard. All right. So now, let's take a look at some other items that are not on the billing screen, but still have to do with cashiering. So one of those items is called fast posting. Fast posting, here's the button, it's under cashiering. We put our password in. Fast posting is a quick way to post multiple transactions to various accounts or rooms within Opera. This would be used in case when the laundry valet person delivers guest clothing back to the hotel. The front desk staff would receive a master bill with each guest's name, room number, and charge. With fast posting, the front desk can just type in the room number and charge the amount. Press post and move down to the next line. Without this function, the front desk would need to individually open each guest reservation, go into billing, and then post. This function will save the front desk time by allowing them to post to multiple rooms at the same time. So as I just said, we would type in the room number. If you do not know the room number, you can click on the drop down and it would give you everybody in house. Okay, so we could go to Thomas Efsta, select, laundry, we could type in LUD, search to the right of the percent sign, click on find, spelled it wrong, guest laundry, let's say for this person it was $33, check number. We could post, takes you to the next line, and we could put it in the next room number. If I didn't know it, I could search Darla Hickman. It automatically puts the transaction code in for me. Say for her, we're going to post $64. Ticket number. And post. We could go right down the line and post a bunch of laundry charges. We'll close, and now those charges will be posted to the guest bill. So that's fast posting. We also have what's called batch posting. Batch posting is another quick way to post charges within Opera. So we could go to cashiering. We could go to cashier functions, and we can click on batch postings. Put our Opera password in, and it takes you to the batch posting screen. So when using batch posting, it has to be to the same transaction code and for the same amount. So for example, if the hotel charges $15 daily for self-parking, a user could batch post for self-parking and put in $15 for the amount. Once the user selects all of the rooms included in the batch posting, Opera will then post the $15 self-parking to all rooms selected. The only time posting can be used is when the transaction code and the amount are the same for all rooms selected. So if we find the transaction code for parking, so we'll do guest self-parking. The amount was $15. Click on the drop down for rooms. So we could do 203, 205, and 209 for parking. It's going to post to the transaction code guest self-parking $15 for these 3 rooms. Click on OK. It says, do you want to see the posting details? I'm going to say yes. And it's posted to these 3 rooms. So that's batch posting. Cashier functions are various functions that enhance cashiering within Opera. They allow the user to do such things as exchange foreign currency, take advance deposits, print a folio or receipt from history, and also access the cashier journal. We've already explained batch folios in a previous class and batch postings. Now, if there was currency, if you were a hotel that did foreign currency exchange, we would turn on the application setting and you'd have a button for currency exchange. So when this is configured, this allows the user to calculate and exchange currency for a guest. So we would have that turned on. Cashier status. Cashier status allows the user to see what other users still have their cashier open and when was the last time they closed their cashier. So the last time I closed my cashier, when it was open, I've opened it twice. Okay. We go back to cashier functions. The next one is deposit. This is shared with the cancellation screen. This screen, after I put in my password, okay, this screen allows the user to see all outstanding guest deposits. This screen also gives the user the ability to take advance deposits without having to search and go into each individual reservation. So we could choose all reservations here, arrival date from today forward. Click on search, and we don't have any. So all the reservations would show up here, and then we could post a deposit against each individual reservation without having to pull up each individual reservation. Okay. Back to cashier functions. That was deposit. Folio history. Folio history allows the user to the past folio for a guest. They will be able to print, preview, or email past folios. So right now, here's our folio history for today. These are guests that I've checked out, posted charges to, and here is their folios from today's checkouts. Okay, so we could go here, we could click on folio, and we could print it out or email it out. We're going to close. Back to cashier functions. The next one is receipt history. Receipt history, anytime a payment is posted in Opera, a receipt of the payment is generated. There are 4 different types of payment receipts. So the different ones you could find here are deposit, the paid out receipts, the payment receipts. We have what's called check exchange, and then we could do currency exchange if you have it turned on. So this stores all the receipts that you have posted, a payment, a paid out, and an advance deposit. So you can always go back and get the receipt. So we have a paid out receipt we did today for $30. We could highlight it, click on print or preview the receipt. So if the guest asks for one, you could always come back here and find the receipt and print it out for them. Okay. back to cashier functions, and the other one is journal. Journal allows the user to look for postings made by them or another user for a date range. So you've got a date range here. So this is all the postings that we could put in just our cashier number here and search, and it would bring up all the postings that I have done from this date range. So for 6/2. Okay? This is everything I've done. It's kind of nice because you can go in and look and see all the postings that you've done for the day or from a previous day. Okay? All right, so that is cashier functions. The next one that we're going to go over is what's called passerby. Passerby, with this function, the user can post to a folio that is not attached to a reservation or an in-house guest. The reason for this function is if you have any guests that were visiting the hotel just for the day. For example, a meeting attendee at the hotel wants to pay for his daily parking charge but is not staying at the hotel. The user could go into passerby and post a charge for parking, collect a payment, and give the day guest a receipt. So let's say I was not staying at the hotel and I am coming to the hotel for a meeting and I need to pay for parking, but I don't have I'm not checked in, so I don't have a folio. So this is one way where you can create a folio for someone that is not an in-house guest. So what we would do, we would choose new. I would click on post. Every time you post, the guest has to have a profile, just like an opera reservation. There's the profile. If it's not there, I'd have to create a new one. And you could just create last name, first name. Room class, we're going to choose as pseudo rooms, which is our posting master rooms. I'm going to click on post. Takes me to the transaction posting screen. I'm going to find the transaction code for parking. Guest self-parking. We're going to charge them $15. We're going to post. We're going to close. It takes me to a payment screen. You have to have a payment also to do this. Let's say they gave me cash. They gave me a $20 bill. My amount is $15. If I wanted to print a folio, I could check the box. I'm going to click post. I owe them $5. And that's it. If I want to see what I did, I could choose the radio button for checkout. And it shows that I posted 2 charges today. One for $15 and one for $22. So I will close out a passerby and it takes us back to the main menu. The next thing that we're going to go over is the quick checkout button. So under cashiering and the button for quick checkout. Put in our password. And it takes us to the quick checkout screen. The quick checkout option in Opera allows the user to check out multiple folios out at the same time. An example when a user would use this option is when a group is checking out at the same time. The user can then select all reservations associated with that particular group and check out their reservation. The user should be very careful when using quick checkout because there may be house accounts that are linked to interfaces and checked in with a 0 balance. If a user selects checkout 0, all the house accounts will be included in the checkout. This may cause the interfaces to not post until they are reinstated. So we're on the quick checkout screen. If you notice, there is 2 profiles here, or 2 posting master interfaces here that showed up. Okay, so nobody else is due out today. So I did a new search on the quick checkout screen, and I have a few more checkouts due outs today here. So if we notice my group is due out today, I also have a posting master here is due out today. We're still on the quick checkout screen here. Okay, so we have no posting masters that have a zero balance here. So I just want to show you how the quick checkout works. If you want to check out, think about if we had a big group in house, which we do here. If we want to check out all the guests in the group with a zero balance, we could click on checkout zero. And it says, do you want to check out the sharing guest because there's one sharing? And I'm going to say yes. Then it takes you to the payment screen here for the ones that have a zero balance. Okay, we'll try that one more time. Checks out everybody with a zero balance. Okay, so it's very quick. So if you had a group in-house, had room and tax to the master, they have not charged anything else, then you can check them out all at one time. It's a really cool feature. Okay, always remember on the quick checkout screen, you have the yellow border up here. So you can search just for what you're looking for. Maybe you want to just pull up everybody in that opera training group. And there they are. Or we want to pull up by payment type, or by a group block code, or just by a certain room type. So there are all different ways that you can pull up different choices here. Okay, so if we wanted to check these guests out now by instead of going one by one into each person's reservation, we can do check out all and it will take us to the payment screen. So if I just click on the ones I want to check out here, I could choose check out all. We could check out with open folio. But notice when I do check out all, it takes me and also pulls up the posting master. I don't want to check out the posting master yet, so I just close and it takes me to the next one. So the next one is Darla Hickman, and it's $64 is what this person owes. So I click OK, takes me to the screen. Let's say she gave me a Visa, $64, credit card number. I post, takes me to the next one, $15. I click on OK. Let's say they gave me cash, they gave me a $20 bill. I post, I owe them $5. Takes me to the next one. These are all the ones that had parking, had self-parking. Remember we posted earlier? I click on OK. See, they gave me a Visa card. And post. The next one's $15. Say they gave me $15 in cash. And posting master left. If we wanted to look at the posting master from the screen, we could click on billing. And it would take us to the posting master. Remember, we had all those charges with that group for room and tax that was posted to the posting master. We had room and tax to the master. Okay, so here's our master folio. Down at the bottom, remember we had deposits on that reservation. So at checked-in, the deposits moved on to the guest bill. We had a deposit for $5,000 and we had a deposit for $2,500. Okay. So we're not going to check that particular one out. So that's quick checkout. So the last button under cashiering, and always remember, if you don't like to use the button here, you can use the word up the top here. Okay. So under cashiering, we have one called Post-it. Post-it, I think, is really cool because it reminds me of a little cash register. So if you have a hotel that has a snack bar behind the front desk, or they have a little grocery mart behind the front desk, and they sell like sodas and potato chips and different things at the property, we can create these different items that they sell through configuration. Okay, so somebody comes up to the front desk and they have a little gift shop or a little store behind the front desk. They can use the post-it screen to post the items to do either a room charge or take a payment. Okay, so you don't have to go to the in-house guest bill if you don't want to. You can just go to post it here, and let's say the guest is going to buy some apple juice. Let's say they're going to buy some chips and also maybe a bottle of white wine. Okay, so the charges, these are preset amounts in configuration, and also we've preset these different items or buttons in the post-it screen, which is done through the configuration module. So now, if you notice, we have a total of $15 here. We can minus off, let's say we wanted to take that off. Oh, we'd have to close out. Okay. So now, if we wanted to do a room charge here of the $15, we could click on room charge, find the person's room, or we could search by name. So Thomas Efta, or we could put in the room number, $15. Checked in, balance of $16.50. We're going to select the guest. Okay, maybe other payments here. So let's say he's going to give us cash, and the sale is complete. Okay, so if somebody else came up to the shop and you wanted to post, let's say they got some cookies, they got some red wine, some orange juice, they give you a credit card, a Visa. Let's say 10, 21, enter, and then it posted to the Visa card. Okay, so that is post-it. We close out, it takes us back to the Opera screen. So the last thing we're going to do today is we're going to close out our cashier, which we've done in a couple of our training sessions, but we'll do it again here. So some properties like for you to run the journal by cashier report and put it in with your cashier closing. So if you wanted to run the cashier journal by cashier report, you could click on miscellaneous, you could go to reports, type in the word journal, click on search. You have the journal by cashier and transaction code. Put in today's date. Choose the cashier number that you are. We want to group it by transaction code. And then we could print or preview the report. And this is a report that will show all the posting that you did today in detail and any payments that you took in. So that's one report that you could run. So now we want to close our cashier out. So the cashier shift function is the area in Opera where the user actually closes out their shift and cashier. Each Opera user that has access to post and check in and out a guest reservation will be assigned a unique cashier ID that is attached to their Opera user ID. If we go to cashier shift functions, we have a button for cashier shift close. Once the user is finished with their shift and has reviewed appropriate closing paperwork, they can finalize this by going to cashier shift function and closing their shift. Once this is completed, the user will not be able to access the guest folio anymore for that day without opening up another shift in Opera. Depending on the hotel's policy, the user may only be able to reopen their cashier number a couple times in one day. Okay, so the Cashier Shift Close button, this is where the user ultimately goes and closes their cashier. Here they are able to review their postings for the day, see how much in cash and checks should make up their shift drop, and close their cashier to get their end of shift paperwork. The button for Cashier Shift Reports. This allows the user to review their payment transactions before closing the cashier. On this screen, the reports are broken down by Opera payment types. So you could view your cash report, your checks, your credit card, AR settlements, which is your direct bills, any miscellaneous report, and deposit transfer report. Okay. The other button is to reprint reports. If the user needs to reprint their cashier closure from today or any date, they can go into this screen and search for the reports to print. So you can put in your cashier ID here, put in the closing date that you are looking for, let's say for yesterday, 6/1, and then I can print my closure reports again. So closing your cashier, so if we go to Cashier Shift Close, we put in our password. While reviewing this section, you just want to make sure to look at all the items you posted and make sure to look at the cash that you took in, the paid outs, the visas, so that you can make sure everything is correct here. Once you're okay with this, you'll just click on OK. It's taking you to cashier closure. It shows that you had $132 in cash that you took in today. We gave out $50 for paid outs. So the total cash drop for today will be $82 for this user. I click on OK. It says, please verify your cash drop before closing. Is it correct? I'm going to say yes. Do you want to print your cashier report? At this time, I'm not going to, so I say no. And then my cashier is closed. Okay? So if I go to try to go back into cashier billing, and I put in my password, it's going to prompt me to open up the cashier again. Depending on the property, some properties only allow you to close your cashier once and then you can't get back into it. And then there's other properties that allow you to reopen it as many times as you want. So you will need to check with the property to see what their procedure is. Okay, that concludes our Cashiering 2 class. So today we went over different ways to get to the cashiering screen. Remember, we went to billing. We also went to Control F4. We brought up the dashboard. Allows us to get to billing from here. Go to checkout. Takes us to the billing screen. We also went to front desk and in-house. Click search. These are all our checked in guests. We can go to options and go to billing. I'm going to put in our password again and reopen it. On the billing screen, we went over the options button. And also within the billing screen, we went over how to make adjustments, did the right click, did the adjust transactions. We also learned how to post charges. And outside of the billing screen, under the cashier button, we went over fast posting. We went over quick checkout. We also went over scheduled checkout. We went over passerby. We went over post-it, cashier functions, and cashier shift functions. We also went to miscellaneous and reports, and we pulled up a couple reports. This is where you find your reports. Okay. And so that is what we've done today, and we've completed our Cashier 2 class. That concludes this session.